Hey everyone, it's your boy, the Story God. I'm back with another video. Decades before LAPD killed a girl, a wild shootout blocks away helped militarize police. Now, this sounds interesting. Policing in Los Angeles changed forever on the morning of February 28, 1997, when Americans watched on live TV as a 44-minute firefight unfolded between two heavily armed bank robbers and outgunned LAPD officers at a Bank of America in a bustling North Hollywood shopping district. In the end, nearly 2,000 bullets were fired, the two robbers were killed, and multiple officers and civilians were injured in the now infamous showdown, which helped usher in the modern era of militarized police. Last week, another shock incident just 3 blocks away offered a tragic postscript to the high-powered approach that police adapt after the bank shootout. A Los Angeles police officer carrying an assault rifle rushed with several other officers into a Burlington department store. After receiving reports that a man was attacking people inside, the officer charged ahead to confront a man who had attacked shoppers with a bike lock, firing 3 rounds and killing the man seconds after first laying eyes on him. But those shots also killed 14-year-old Valentina or Olena. I'm sorry. I'm fair. I can pronounce uh, her full name, but I don't want to butcher her full name. But yeah, I'm just gonna call her Valentina. But those shots also killed 14-year-old Valentina, who was hiding in a nearby changing room with her mother, and was struck by one of the rounds after police said it rocketed off the floor and pierced a wall. Sounds like manslaughter to me. I mean, come on, this is a clear case of manslaughter. Those two violent events, 24 years apart, demonstrate the pendulum swing in American law enforcement that has become a part of the outrage that followed Valentina's killing. After the shootout, the LAPD and law enforcement agencies across the country boosted their firepower equipment. Officers with high-powered rifles and other weaponry. The LAPD also authorized its officers to carry high-caliber handguns, and Los Angeles passed a series of gun control measures. The officer who killed Valentina fired a military-grade rifle. The LAPD released an edited video Monday of 911 calls, store surveillance footage, and scenes from officers' body cameras, which has fueled debate about the police tactics, whether the girl had to die. The fuck? No! What are you talking about? That girl was 14 years old. Why are you trying to excuse that girl's death? I know that's not what they're saying, but the fact that people were actually debating this and are actually debating if a 14-year-old had nothing to do with the incident, had to die, it's fucking ridiculous. You should be ashamed of yourself if you're actually debating a person's whether it was necessary for them to die or not when they're hiding ways away, only for the officer's gun to pierce through the wall and kill her. And she wasn't even the one he was aiming at, and yet he still killed her. He's still responsible for her death. Why? Because he chose to rush in. I actually read about this a bit in another article. He rushed in, and he rushed in way ahead of the other officers. Saw the man just open fire. That's what he did. He rushed in, and now because of rushing in, granted, he did see a woman bleeding on the floor. So I guess he wanted to make sure other people don't get hurt. I understand that. But the fact is, him rushing in and ignoring protocol or whatever resulted in a 14-year-old girl dying. She's dead now because of him. And I hope he gets arrested because that's obviously manslaughter. I don't give a fuck if he's officer or not. That's manslaughter. He deserves to be charged just like a regular person. And yet, people will be against that idea. Even though a 14-year-old died. They'll still be against it because they love sucking blue dick. They love that. Oh, they love it, bro. They love it. And that to me is the saddest part ever. That to me is straight up pathetic and mentally weak, bro. Like, come on now. The fact that you're actually debating this and thinking about it and approving of officer's action, even well, I don't know if they're approving it. I don't know. Some people are. I can't say that's actually happening right now. But what I can say, I know people are still. I know certain people, even after hearing Valentina's murder or murder. Uh, and what happened with her, and that the fact that the officer involved was the one responsible. It's going to be like, oh, that's unfortunate, but he had to do what he had to do. You know, cops, they have it pretty hard, right? We all make mistakes. Like, nigga, that's true, but at the same time, she died. And so he deserves to be locked up for that. He deserves to be fired. He doesn't deserve the badge. He doesn't. He doesn't deserve it. Nigga's incompetent. That's what he is. He's incompetent, bro. The fact that he rushed in and resulted in someone else's death. What if it happens again? It's the very same officer, right? Fool me once. What's it saying? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Um, Whatever the saying is, I forgot what exactly it is, but I guarantee you, if it happens a second time, y'all gonna be feeling fucking stupid. Well, obviously, not a lot of people, because you know they're purely it's like a cult. Blue Lives Matter is basically like a cult, bro. They're a cult. They don't care about statistics. They don't care about facts. Their excuse is, oh well, officers have it hard. No, they don't. Oh well. Oh well. Sorry about my brother. He's screaming. They're also gonna say, oh well, a cop helped me. I'm like, okay, and the fact that a cop helped you got nothing to do with other people's problems with law enforcement. But since he helped you out, obviously all cops are amazing if one helped you out. That means all of them are great, right? Is that what you're saying? Come on now. There are many unanswered questions about the shooting, including whether the officer believed that the Lock-wielding man, 24-year-old Danielle, did I pronounce it right? 24-year-old Daniel Elena Lopez was armed with a gun when they entered the store. Also, among the key questions, experts who reviewed the video said that this is why an officer would discharge an assault-style rifle in a store, or whether the decision to do so was improper. But experts advocate that the observers also raised concerns about whether the force was justified, whether the police should have commanded Lopez to surrender, and the consistency of the officer's actions. George, I'm not gonna pronounce that. Well, race soldier, a former race soldier and professor. I can't pronounce that either. At the Florida State University College of Criminology and Criminal Justice, said that the officer should not have fired a military-grade rifle inside the store. That's one. The first question is, why was a guy carrying a weapon like this? He asked. This is very, very risky. This is a very, very risky weapon. A weapon of enormous lethality that has a long range and high penetration rate. According to the race soldier, the ex-race soldier. Studies of police shootings have found that the hit rate is about 17%, creating the the potential for errant rounds to endanger bystanders. Bullets go all over the place, he said. Greg Mayer, a retired race soldier and nationally recognized use of force expert, disagreed with the notion that police should not have a high-powered weapon. Of course. What did you expect? And in tow, I mean, he is like the captain, so this shouldn't surprise you. When they entered the Burlington store, given what they had been told about the circumstances they were facing inside, you absolutely want to have the rifle up front in this situation. That's normal for what you believe will be an active shooting situation, he said. It appears that police believe they were in such a high danger scenario because at least one 911 call nervously. Is that nervously? Yeah. It was, I don't know, told an emergency dispatcher that there had been a shooting at the store. There had been a shooting at the store, and that a man had a gun. Well, the assertion later turned out to be false. Police have to operate based on the information they have available. According to Steph, a former Florida race soldier and University of South Carolina law professor who studies shootings and has co-authored a book on race soldiers' use of force. When officers get the information active shooters shots fired without strong evidence to the contrary, they go in to respond as if it was an active shooter who shots fired. He said, adding that in monitoring and policing, that means going in hard and fast, basically. Because of that, reality is vital that any information dispatchers give to police is as accurate as possible, he said. It's so incredibly important for all. I'll skip that. In 2012, the pros of providing inaccurate information to police were made tragically clear when Pasadena, a police shot and killed an unarmed 19-year-old McDad. Prosecutors later determined that the officer had acted on false assumption that McDade was armed, based on a report by a 911 call who anonymously told a dispatcher he had been aroused at gunpoint. Still, no matter what these prosecutors told them before they arrived on the scene, Thursday, Kirkham said police should have shouted commands at Lopez or daring him to turn around and get on his knees to put his hands behind his head, instead of immediately shooting him. That's it. This does not look like what we would call a good shot, the Florida State University professor said. Staunton, whatever, noted that while it's important to assess what police dispatchers and other responders could have done better, the fact that an encounter ended up in tragedy doesn't necessarily mean anyone did anything wrong. Nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, skip. He's honestly skip. I'm done. Skip him. He said, okay, skip that too. But Meyer said he believes that while much is still unknown about the incident, the officers' actions, considering the information they had been given about the circumstances inside the store, were constantly under the U.S. Supreme Court decision in the 1989 case. This is a constitution that the United States Supreme Court calls tense, uncertain, and rapidly evolving, Ingraham Mayer said. The officers basically seemed to assess that they were going into a potential active shooting situation, and they were within it as if they were supposed to, with a rifle in the lead. When they finally caught up to the suspect, it all depends on what threat the officer who fired perceived. Kevin Robinson, an instructor at the Arizona State University School of Criminology and Criminal Justice and former Phoenix Police Department assistant chief, said that the video paints only a particular picture of the tragedy. The most important information will come from interviews with an officer who fired a weapon. It's going to depend on the officer and what he saw, Rodman said. You have to know what the officer was thinking. Right now, he said, we don't know anything. Huh. Well, I don't know about y'all, but it's clear to me that officer should be charged with manslaughter.